Hey everyone, let's talk about something that is on a lot of minds, something that could be the next big wave. Many people feel like they completely missed the boat on Nvidia. They think they've already missed out on AI, and now they just watching the market movements from the sidelines. In their own thoughts, they convinced you can really make significant money in the market anymore. But the reality is the money is already made. In fact, the game is truly just beginning right now. Wall Street, being what it is, may already be looking ahead to the next big trend, the next technological revolution. One thing Wall Street is consistently good at doing is making its profits in one area and then very subtly navigating to the next promising sector, often right under our noses. However, we have a president currently in office who often provides clear hints about where Wall Street might be heading. He mentioned something very specific just last week. He spoke about quantum. Now, of course, myself and several other content creators on YouTube have already been discussing this topic for a while. But when the president himself brought it up, it really solidified its importance and potential. Billions of dollars are projected to keep flowing into this particular space, much in the same way that money absolutely flooded into the field of artificial intelligence. Some of these nascent companies in the quantum space may genuinely never be this affordable again. This is because once the government starts actively backing and promoting a technology, as they have been doing with other key areas, Wall Street immediately begins to construct compelling narratives around it, and once major exchange-traded funds or ETFs start to build up significant positions, along with large banks and hedge funds, these investments typically start to show considerable movement long before the general public fully grasps what is truly happening. This is precisely why we absolutely cannot afford to miss out on this opportunity right now. Most people still don't even fully understand what quantum computing actually is, yet capital is already actively moving into this sector. We can clearly observe this trend, we see the signs. So in this video, I am going to meticulously break down exactly why quantum computing matters so much, why governments worldwide are suddenly showing such intense interest, and then, crucially, I am going to share with you 3 specific ETFs that these institutions are currently using to position themselves strategically, long before the mainstream crowd even begins to get involved. This is because the next major technology wave may in fact already be getting started. Before we dive deeper, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone you think might benefit from it. But most importantly, everyone help us reach 2,000 likes on this video. That kind of engagement genuinely helps us significantly with the algorithm, pushing our content up so we can continue to put out valuable information to help all of you out there. At the very end, please comment below and tell us which one of these ETFs you find most interesting or which one you might be considering. Let us get right into it. Every single generation experiences this kind of technology race, and each one fundamentally changes the game. But too often we find ourselves reacting too late. Think about oil, the internet, smartphones, cloud computing, and more recently, AI. Now, quantum computing appears to be the next major battlefield. That is absolutely correct. Let me simplify this complex idea for you, because I feel like I could be talking for hours, but if you don't grasp the core concept, then this information won't effectively get its point across. Traditional computers, the ones we use every day, can only process one specific path of information at any given time. Quantum computing, on the other hand, allows you to process multiple tasks or complex calculations simultaneously. Consider artificial intelligence for a moment. AI generates an absolutely massive amount of information, incredible complexity, and an insatiable demand for computational power. The smarter AI becomes, the more advanced and powerful the computing infrastructure the world will undoubtedly require. Eventually, traditional computing systems inevitably hit their inherent limits. These include power consumption limits, heat dissipation limits, and fundamental processing limits. And that, my friends, is precisely where quantum computing enters the game. They aren't trying to completely replace AI. Instead, they are designed to help solve incredibly complex problems that traditional systems simply struggle with or cannot solve efficiently at all. These problems include cutting-edge drug discovery, highly sophisticated military simulations, robust cybersecurity measures, advanced financial modeling, complex optimization challenges. Next, generation encryption, and the list of applications goes on and on. This is why governments are paying such close attention. This is merely a technology race anymore. It has rapidly evolved into a critical national security race. Now allow me to dig just a little deeper here, because I need you to truly understand the foundational platform before I get into the details of the 3 specific ETFs. Here's what most people consistently miss. Once a government starts to actively fund and support a particular technology, Wall Street's perception and treatment of it fundamentally changes. This is because government money serves as a powerful validation of the technology's importance. I am going to repeat that crucial point. Government money validates the importance. It effectively signals to large institutions and investors that this specific technology truly matters, that it has strategic significance. We saw this validation happen with AI, we saw it happen with semiconductors, we saw it happen with defensive technologies. Now, quantum computing appears to be entering this very same phase. And when substantial capital begins to flow into a particular sector, ETFs often become one of the very first places where this institutional capital moves. This is because ETFs can offer a relatively safer, diversified investment avenue into an emerging but potentially volatile sector. So let us now break down these specific ETFs, because understanding them gives us a clear indication of how Wall Street is strategically attempting to position itself for the future. The first ETF I want to discuss is QTUM, which stands for the Defiance Quantum ETF. Again, that is QTUM. This particular ETF is less focused on investing in one single specific company and is more about gaining exposure to the underlying infrastructure that powers advanced computing as a whole. It currently boasts approximately 83% technology exposure, which means you are going to have significant exposure to the tech sector. This is because quantum computing, despite its futuristic nature, still heavily relies on foundational components like semiconductors, memory, robust networking, advanced compute systems, and comprehensive communication infrastructure. This reliance on communication infrastructure is why the communications sector represents the second biggest field within this ETF. This isn't just about making a speculative bet on pure science or experimental breakthroughs. This is about making a strategic bet on the entire technology stack that quantum computing will depend on. Let us connect some of these companies together so you can fully understand the implications. The first company among the top 5 holdings is Intel, and Intel matters immensely because even quantum computing, for all its potential, still requires tangible hardware. Many people mistakenly think quantum is pure magic, but it is not. It still needs physical chips. It still needs fabrication facilities. It still needs quantum compute infrastructure to actually function. Intel already possesses deep-seated government relationships, extensive manufacturing exposure, ambitious advanced computing initiatives, and critical foundry infrastructure. And if America genuinely desires domestic leadership in computing, which it clearly does, then Intel will undoubtedly remain a central player in that conversation. Next on the list is none other than Micron, ticker symbol MUD. We know for a fact that memory, well, we can clearly see the critical role it plays in today's computing landscape. Memory becomes absolutely critical because AI and other advanced systems constantly move enormous quantities of data. The more advanced computing becomes, the more vital memory's role grows. So we can certainly check that off the list of essential components. Think about modern AI data centers without sufficient high-speed memory. That immediately creates a significant bottleneck. So Micron becomes an integral part of the plumbing behind this accelerating compute race, making it a key component within this ETF. Number 3, within this ETF is Nokia. And I know this might surprise a lot of people, but quantum technology also profoundly affects networking and communications. This includes secure communications, the fundamental telecom infrastructure, and the efficient movement of vast amounts of data. Nokia already operates extensively within global communication systems, so investing here isn't just about betting on pure quantum compute. It is also about betting on the underlying infrastructure, the essential infrastructure needed to support the next generation of computing. Then there is AMD. And this company is all about pure compute power. This means AI acceleration, powerful data centers, and advanced processing capabilities. If the demand for AI continues its explosive growth, then advanced processing will remain absolutely critical. Wall Street understands that compute demand won't simply disappear just because quantum technology advances. Traditional and hybrid systems will still require immense processing power. And finally, there is Global Foundries, ticker symbol GF. This particular company specializes in semiconductor infrastructure. Again, this is like investing in the picks and shovels during a gold rush. This ETF is essentially taking the position that we don't necessarily need to identify the exact ultimate winner yet. What we do know is that the foundational infrastructure unequivocally matters. So QTUM is just betting on one single company. It is making a strategic bet on the entire ecosystem that underpins quantum technology. And that, my friends, is incredibly important because technological revolutions are built around creating multiple layers of innovation. So it is never just one singular thing. It is always a complex, interconnected stack. Now, the second ETF we'll discuss takes a more aggressive stance. This is where Wall Street begins to lean more heavily toward pure compute exposure. I want to emphasize that again, pure compute exposure. This ETF includes companies like IonQ, Rigetti, D-Wave, AMD, and Intel. You'll notice some familiar names, some repeat offenders, as it were. This particular ETF tells a significantly different story. While QTUM focuses on owning the infrastructure, this ETF explicitly states, own the frontier. I'll repeat that for emphasis. This ETF says, own the frontier of what is coming. So, you start with IonQ, which is arguably one of the most recognized pure-play quantum names in the entire industry. Why? Well, because investors view it as direct quantum exposure, offering potential for cloud integration and significant future compute upside. This is, I'll be honest, a more speculative play. However, If the adoption of quantum technology accelerates dramatically, these specific names could experience extremely volatile and rapid price movements, which some have already shown. IonQ sits squarely in that category. Then there is Rigetti, ticker symbol RGTI. This company is even further out on the frontier, as they focus on highly specialized superconducting quantum systems. Now, it is a smaller company, meaning it has higher volatility and consequently higher risk. But again, if the quantum race truly accelerates, then Wall Street will start aggressively chasing direct exposure to this nascent technology. And these are precisely the kinds of names that institutions carefully watch when they are positioning themselves early for a major technological shift. Then you have D-Wave, ticker symbol QBTs, which is particularly interesting because they focus more on optimization problems, helping to solve incredibly complex systems. Think about things like intricate supply chain scheduling, optimizing complex routing logistics, and industrial optimization challenges. So while AI creates intelligence, quantum technology may play a crucial role in helping to optimize the real-world systems around that intelligence. And that is where it becomes much bigger than just mere hype. So the ETF we're rediscussing here is fundamentally betting on the possibility that quantum technology will become commercially significant. And if it does, these smaller pure-play companies are often the ones that will move the hardest and fastest. And finally, you have the CQTM ETF. This third ETF may arguably be the most important, at least psychologically. This is because CQTM is specifically built around the concepts of building quantum capabilities, protecting quantum assets, and defending against quantum threats. And that fundamentally changes the underlying narrative, because here, we're moving beyond mere cold technology and entering the realm of national infrastructure. I really want you to grasp how these elements play a critical role. You have cybersecurity, national defense, advanced encryption, secure communications, and robust government systems. Because quantum computing theoretically possesses the potential to eventually challenge traditional encryption methods, you have to assume that governments are fully aware of this looming challenge. Therefore, CQTM is not just making a bet on general technology growth, it is making a strategic bet on geopolitical importance. And this precisely is why government angles matter so much. Once nations start to care deeply about a technology, substantial money invariably flows into it. So that is kind of why I am bringing these three specific ETFs to your attention. Most investors tend to wait until a particular technology feels absolutely obvious, or they buy into it much later, by which point it is often too late. Institutions have already firmly positioned themselves, the ETFs have already experienced significant movements, and the general narrative has already been thoroughly built. The biggest, smartest money usually starts moving well before the general public fully understands the underlying story. People laughed at cloud computing initially. People laughed at streaming services. People laughed at cryptocurrencies. And yes, people are even laughing at AI right now. But those very sectors and those specific investment instruments turned countless individuals into millionaires and even multimillionaires. So the real question is whether every single quantum computing company will succeed or win big. The more pertinent question is, does the overall space itself grow? Because if the entire space experiences significant growth, then capital will naturally flow into the broader ecosystem. Most people still mistakenly believe that the AI race is solely about software, but the next critical layer may very well become advanced compute, robust infrastructure, quantum capabilities, cutting-edge cybersecurity, and highly advanced systems. And if billions of dollars continue to flow into this vital space, then this may truly be just the very beginning. So the real question you need to ask yourself is, will you actively study this significant shift while it is still in its early stages, or will you wait until Wall Street has already made its decisive move? Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments if you found this video helpful. Please share it out with somebody that you care about.